Hello and welcome back to Scratch Social episode 7, Eimear.
And I'm Paddy.
And this is the final episode of the year.
If this is your first time listening, this is the podcast where we talk about the game we love, the golf, the culture around it, the people in it, and all the moments that make it what it is. And if you've been with us over our first few episodes, thank you very much. Genuinely thanking you, the person's listening or the person watching on YouTube, or we're on video. What do the two Johnnies say? Watch if it is safe to do so, if you're doing this on Spotify. So whether you've listened every week, if you've dipped in because you've watched a clip or you sent us a message or a voice note, this one's for you.
Definitely. And Paddy, today is about looking back on the year in golf, picking out the moments that stuck with us, the shots, the stories, what was good and maybe what wasn't so good, which is really exciting.
So yeah, we're going to try and do a proper best of episode. So we're going to pick a couple of breakthrough players, our favourite moments, underrated things, and we'll finish by maybe looking ahead to what we would like golf to do better in 2026 and beyond. So no rankings pressure, no hot takes for the sake of it, just a bit of reflection, a bit of honesty. We don't even know what day it is, so we're here for plenty of golf chat.
Amen.
I don't know what's up first, Eimear. What's up first?
Okay, Paddy, we have some really exciting bits. We have our Scratch Social moments of the year. So each of us have picked specific moments in 2025 that we think are some of the best moments in golf this year. So Paddy, talk to me. What is your on-course moment of 2025?
Yeah, so these are our personal ones. So not like the boys and girls and men and women on the TV screen. So my best on-course moment, and I've had a couple this year because I was playing Junior Cup for the home club in Lynch. So I was thinking, is it playing Junior Cup, chipping eagle in front of the president to win the match 5-4 down in the Ring of Kerry? No, it was holing out for eagle on the 6th hole in the Sandy Hill Links, which is the hardest hole in the course, 415-yard par 4 into a stiff breeze. And it's 415 yards, but I had 148 or 9 yards in because off the tee, I ballpark topped my tee shot and it went about 220. Oh, stepped up with an 8-iron, lovely flight hit shot, was going perfect, hit the front of the green and it just disappeared. I thought it was over the back. And no, it was in the hole. So that's a memorable moment and got me back to, I think I was 7 over at the time. So got me back to 5 over for the day.
Very good. Very, very good. Before we dive into mine, I have actually signed up with 3 of my husband and my cousin and one of my friends to play the summer solstice in Rosapenna. I am so excited. We're doing this on the 21st of June. So, like, as a course, how amazing is
So
Sandy
jealous.
Hills?
It is, I'm very, very jealous, by the way. I was actually, went down to Ennis. So I traveled 16 miles to drink 4 pints of my Waddy Orange. But with 3 good friends of mine, and it was my Waddy Orange because I was driving back home after. But I was like, lads, we have to do a golf trip. I was like, sure, we're going to Rosapenna. And I was like, you didn't tell me. No, we did, but you're in America. So they're going up to play the Scratch Cup. And I was like, well, we'll have to go back again. So yeah, Rosapenna is one of my favorite places in the country to go. I call it golfing mecca. Sandy Hill Links is, don't read it off the scorecard. It is not that easy. I don't think the rating or the slope is accurate at all. I shot 79 in 79, and the course difficulty for the competition. So they used to call it the CSS. They don't call it anymore. They call it something else now for competitions. The CSS was 1 shot, and like everyone in the Junior Scratch Cup, I think one fella shot 2 over, and everybody else was like 5, 6, 7 over. Didn't even come close to one of my best 7. But it should be like. It's tight. There's some decent long holes. There's a lot of danger. I would say work on a couple of different ball flights off the tee. Be able to move it left to right and be able to move it right to left. Ideally, be able to move it low and high. So yeah, have those 4-shot windows and you'll do just fine. Yeah, easy course, Eimear. Easy course.
Nice and easy. I didn't play as much golf as I'd hoped in 2025, but I have big goals for 2026. But one particular moment that I had on the course this year, I think was back in June or July, we were playing Mahony's Point down in Killeen, which I spoke about last week. And I sunk a super long putt on the 17th. And Kev was actually recording me because I said to him, I have a feeling this is going to go into the hole. And it was about 45 feet, lashing rain. and I put it, didn't even really know where it was breaking because the greens were so wet, and it went into the hole. So we'll clip it in here, and it was such an exciting moment, but it was really weird because I almost willed it in, and I said to Kev, "Just record this." And then when I sunk it, you know what? I was like, "Kev, did you get it? You see it in the video." And he did. So that moment was like, okay, I still have it. I hadn't played golf in a long time, and because we were so busy with events and event season, but like 2026, I am making it my business, especially now with this podcast, because we're both so excited about it. And like, we've caught this new form of a golf bug, Paddy, between us that we want to go play as much as we possibly can. So hopefully we'll have more of these amazing moments in 2026.
Absolutely. Now, we're all about, yes, golf on the course, but also like off the course, like cultural moment or community moment. Is there any off course story for you, Eimear, from 2025?
Oh, definitely. Like it's a bit more of a personal one. My 9-year-old niece took up golf probably 18, 20 months ago, and she's gotten her first official handicap, which is 54. And it is so amazing and so exciting. And I was saying this to you a couple of weeks ago. She's so obsessed with getting her handicap down now. She's asking my sister, can she get a part-time job to pay for lessons, like what she needs to do to get it down. So it's amazing for a child that young. And she's also moved up from the kids tees or the beginners tees, I would say, to the ladies red tees. So now, like, if we play together, we're actually playing off the same tees, and she's 9. So it's amazing and so exciting, and it's one of those moments where it just makes me so proud, and I just can't wait to see where she goes with it.
And that's fantastic. I actually have a couple. So one I mentioned on the podcast was my two girls, 5 and 2, Sophie and Paige, picking up golf putter of their own accord, because I'm trying to I'm a fun dad, I'm the fun dad. So they think golf is fun. So they picked it up of their own accord in the office and just started hitting putts and taking turns. But actually, it was actually a more up to date one is yesterday, or 2 nights ago. So this is going out New Year's Eve. So 3 nights ago, I was organising to go play golf at 12 o'clock. And normally I just chill out with Christopher here with my parents, and he might go on the switch, or he might do some coding or whatever. But we'd played par 3 in the simulator the day before. And he goes, Dad, no, can I go play golf in the morning? Like, and with autism and the whole, like, the fact that to be spontaneous like that is like what we were always trying to help him develop, like have a spontaneous thought and spontaneous conversation and a spontaneous ask. The child never asks for anything. Like, I've had to write the Santa list with him, just in case there's kids still listening, or at all. We write it together, so I might encourage some selections, because I know he likes, but he never asks for anything, so he finds it really fun. So I think a lot of parents might be afraid of using simulators. They might think that they're too sophisticated or too hard. Get the pro to set it up if you don't know how. So we set up a par 3 course. You can just play 9 holes. But when you select the course, there's difficulty ratings 1 to 5 stars when you select them. So I select the ones with 3 or 4 with difficulty rating of 1 star. So easy. But then when you go into the tee selection, you can make it even shorter. So the easy ones are generally like 700 or 900 yards long for the whole length of the course. So I bring that down to the shortest possible. Just makes it easier for Christopher. I did that on the Sunday just past, and see there's very little, if any, ponds in the way, or there's very little, if any, rough or trees in the way. Most of them are 40 to 90 yards. So it's really good fun golf for him, and it's really good wedge practice for me. So yeah, that's off course, but kind of simulated on course. Best moment.
That's absolutely amazing. And I love watching yours and Christopher's videos. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I've even, over time, I've seen him improve. Like the development is there. His swing is getting better. He's making good contact with the
That's
ball.
not
So
down to me, no.
I've never said this to you, but honestly, fair play to you, because it's amazing and it looks like he's really enjoying it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like an American, I appreciate you. If I ever get told that now, I appreciate you, I'll always reply, well, I appreciate your appreciation. Oh, Christopher's golf swing, it's all down to Max Benner and Dave Power in Tree Golf Club. They run an amazing junior setup down there. Lessons every Saturday during the summer, junior golf every Wednesday and Saturday. So yeah, really good show down there. So thanks to the lads.
Respect. And the next segment of this, I love talking about this. And when we were planning this episode, a couple of things really, really come to mind. But in 2025, we had a very, very defining moment in the sport of golf. And this is something we're really excited to talk about. So we want to talk about cultural moments in golf, moments that we will remember in 10, 20, 30 years. We'll tell our great grandkids about this is Rory McIlroy completing the career Grand Slam in 2025. And look, this was one of the most defining moments, not just in golf, but in sport. So if you were to really look at it, it wasn't just a Masters win, it was a massive relief. Like years of pressure, near misses, public scrutiny, internal expectation. And it all ended in one moment. Like it really reframed Rory's entire career. It reminded everyone that persistence still matters in elite sport. Like when he dropped to his knees on the, I'm actually getting goosebumps talking about it. When he dropped to his knees on the 18th green and just burst out crying, I think that was the biggest release for all of us. So it's not, we're not going to remember this for Rory's green jacket. We're going to remember for the emotion. And it really became, you actually described it as golf's modern redemption.
Sometimes I'm okay with the words with modern redemption, but I think it's a moment in time when you'll ask, where were you when? So, Eimear, where were you when Rory hold that putt to win the Masters and win the Grand Slam?
I was sitting at home with Kev and we were glued to the couch, and the emotional roller coaster of when they got into the playoff, honest to God, I think the whole world were also on their knees just waiting. And I was sitting at home. I'll never forget it. It was a lovely sunny day. It was really, really late then in the evening. And I remember texting an old colleague of mine, Sharon Lancaster from Sports Direct, because she knew how much I loved golf. And then I was texting 20 other people. But that's where I was. I was sitting at home with Kev and we just remember it so well. And then I was bawling my eyes out. Where were you, Paddy?
So on Sundays, we would generally drive up from Kerry. After leaving Christopher with his mom, we drove up to Kerry with our two girls. My wife had it on the phone for the 2.5 hours in the passenger seat, keeping me updated. When Rory held the putt, I was in bed, my wife was asleep. So I don't know what time it was, like 11 o'clock maybe? Maybe later because of the playoff, can't remember how late it went. But basically from the 13th hole on, like I was almost twitching in the bed. Like on 13, he put that 100-yard wedge or whatever, 70-yard wedge into Race Creek. I was like, oh, Jesus. And I was like, I can't wake her up. She'll kill me. Because she wakes up, Sheena takes like hours to get back to sleep. I was 13. Then he bogeyed 14. Then he was behind the trees on 15. So it wasn't just the putt. I remember that whole evening for the rest of my life because I was trying to express how I was feeling without moving or making any sounds. But like you, and I think like a lot of people, we share Rory's ups and downs. And when you hold that putt, I was bawling. Like I was like, oh my God. Like, so you can only imagine how the man himself felt.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And fair play to him, because you know what? That is one of the most difficult mental challenges to overcome, because we knew he had the talent, but like to be able to break all of those barriers, fair play to him. And Paddy, talk to us about like another cultural moment in golf that we will remember in 10 years.
I think it's not just a moment, but I think it's when, especially in this country, it might determine or might drive what golf looks like in this country in like 10 or 20 years. And that this year was the year properly began. So I'm talking about kids and beginners and a sense of belonging. I think that became kind of a real debate. Our first email to the podcast was about this, from Ruth last week. So it's about junior access, it's about age rules, it's about course culture. You've Melbourne golf gone massive on the scene, especially on tour. Recently signed, like Freddie Couples is now going to be wearing Melbourne, like the coolest guy in golf of all time. But like for the first time in years, I think golf really questions itself around like, why can't kids access courses sooner? And this is a big gripe for me in terms of like, especially in, urban areas like where I am in Naas, or whether it be Maynooth or Cork City or large towns and cities around Ireland. If your golf course or golf club age minimum is 10 for a child, how many other sports are they playing by the time they're 10? You've little kicker soccer, you've little, I don't know, spin pass rugby, I don't know, rugby tots, I think it's called. You can play hockey. GAA is massive. They started under fours in Kerry, I think, in the halls and parish halls around the country. They could be playing 3, 4, 5 sports before they're 10. So golf, there won't be time for it. There won't be time for it. As well in golf, just in general for all of us, like why is fun treated as a reward? And that might be people's mentality towards golf. Oh, did you have fun today? Yeah, I had 3 birdies. It's the, after you achieve something, then it's fun. rather than actually being fun doing it. And that's why I try and, make golf fun. You're trying to make everything a win, especially for kids. And I think every kid and beginner should learn like that. And like Ruth's email, like, why do beginners feel like outsiders? Like
Mm.
if that's how golf clubs still treat new members, well, maybe they need to take a harder look at themselves. I think that's why we remember it. I think Golf Ireland did a lot, especially for junior golf. They have local community instructors, and they're running all golf programs in primary schools, and that's been, I think, being expanded out into secondary schools. So they've started something that maybe they should have started 10 years ago, but at least they've done is better than perfect, I always say. So I think you know that at this stage, done is better than perfect is like my catchphrase. But they're doing it now. So yeah, I think that's today will be the year that, will drive what golf looks like, especially in Ireland in the next 10 to 20 years.
Paddy, I think you have hit the nail on the head with something. One of the most common things I hear from people in golf is, I wish I started sooner. So if anybody is considering it, or they have a child, or anybody, just give them a club. As you said, there's programs now in schools, there's local coaching officers, all of that. Like, if they have an opportunity, go for it, because that actually is the most common thing I hear now.
100%. And if, like, you should be able to ask your PGA Pro, you should be able to ask your junior convening in your club. If you're not comfortable doing that and you're listening to this show, email us at podcast@scratchsocialhq.com, or where we live on social media at scratchsocialhq. Like, I had a PGA Pro ask me, what club should I get my 3-year-old niece? Look, he didn't say that. He was like, she's having fun, because this PGA Pro does make golf fun for kids. And he goes, I think I'll just cut down a club for her. I was like, just get the US Kids Yard Club. Like, what's that? You can buy one club. It comes with 3 waffle balls. They're the plastic balls with the holes in them. I think it's €55 or 60 quid from McGurk's. The US Kids golf clubs are 30% lighter than regular clubs, so it helps with kids' dexterity, or motor skills. That they're not lifting a big heavy club with a big heavy club head at the end of it. And the yard club, the actual club head, is about 3 or 4 times the size of a regular one, so it's easier to hit it. And the grip is a training grip. So, and it's a 50 or 60 quid investment. Sophie's had hers for 2 years, so I wouldn't keep to they have to be this height for this club stipulation too hard, so that's my recommendation. Get on to us if you're not comfortable getting on to somebody else.
Brilliant. Yeah, agree.
Now, I have a segment here for best listener stories, because I threw out those question boxes on my Instagram and on Scratch Social HQ's Instagram. So I have a couple of people to shout out. I'll do 3, because I have 6, 12, but I'll do 3. We might save some for the New Year's episode next week. So Alan Spain, on-course bumper of the year. Rory won the Masters, but Ryder Cup was a very close second. I have James Hayes. I don't know if that's the two Johnny's manager now, because, he's also James Hayes, but I assume it's a different James Hayes. James_Hayes_11. He broke par for the first time. So that's his own accomplishment for 2025. That's awesome. David Tynan, who I played golf with in Enniscrone, won his captain prize this year. But yeah, that's 3. So I'll keep the rest for next week. So if you did answer that question box, listen in next week and we'll cover off a few more listener stories.
That's absolutely amazing. Winning the captain's prize and shooting level par. They're 2 of my own goals. So well done, lads. Respect. So thanks to all our listeners for sending in your comments, your achievements. It's amazing. Please keep sending them in. And our next segment, another banger from you, Paddy. Shot of the year. Have you chosen a men's and women's shot of the year for 2025?
I have. And shot of the year obviously had to go to the man of the year, people's personality of the year, the player of the year, even though Scotty got it over in America, but it's Rory McIlroy, and it's a defining shot of 2025. I think it's a shot that shows the level of confidence and belief he has in himself. Given that he'd gone double bogey to be back tight for the lead, or maybe one behind the lead with 4 holes to play, it just shows the level of resilience and mental strength and all those things all these books over here talk about, because he's been through all the hardship in Augusta National. He was leading for 63 holes of the golf tournament in 2010, a couple of bad holes and the head dropped, but it didn't this year. And the shot that he hit was that second shot into 15. It's a par 5. It's called Firethorn. It's over 550 yards. Rory's second shot there on Sunday might have been the most demanding of the week. He had to go around trees, over carry water, but not go too long, because then you're straight down a hill into more water. So it wasn't just about power, it was about trajectory, shape, distance control, and commitment all at one time, and he absolutely sent it. And for people watching TV, I think that's the real, I suppose, additive the shot tracer has given, is you can actually see like magicians at work when they need to be. So like that ball, I'll never forget the ball, that golf shot. It still lives, as I say, one of the most watched clips on social media. I'd say definitely from the year, but it starts miles right. It turns perfectly. It lands 10 feet short, rolls up to about 5 feet, landed pin high. But with the Masters and the history and everything at stake, that he pulled it out of the bag. So it changed the whole feel of the tournament. So it's not just a highlight and a shot of the year. It's an absolute legacy shot that will live in the Golf Hall of Fame, no doubt.
Absolutely. And I think Rory was just as shocked as all of us where it landed, because he just hit it out of the trees and everybody's waiting, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting to see where it lands, and then bang, 5 feet from the pin. Incredible. I totally agree with you. I'm with you. That was one of the greatest shots of all time. Like Tiger's chip at Augusta. It's the same sort of scenario. It's one of those shots that just will live forever and ever.
Same energy. Absolutely the same energy. As the kids saying today, the same vibes. Same vibes. Go for some dynamites. But yeah, on to the women's side of things. I think one of the most memorable shots in women's golf this year came from my favourite golfer, period, with Nelly Calder. And that was at the CME Group Tour Championship in Naples in Florida, not Naples, Italia. And it's a tournament that caps off the LPGA season. So my house with two small girls, I'm trying to indoctrinate them, trying to brainwash them. Golf is on all weekend. In fact, the 2-year-old asked for golf at bedtime because she'll get an extra 15 minutes. But the golf group, it's tough scoring holes. It's long. It's guarded by tricky fairway bunkers. And Nelly found herself in a fairway bunker. And instead of laying up safely, which predominantly a lot of the women on the ladies tour do, she smoked one of the hardest shots in golf. She smoked a fairway bunker approach that nearly spun back towards the hole to set up an eagle. That kind of a bold, confident shot that turns around late on Sunday. So it wasn't just about distance or power, it was about precision under pressure. And when you compare that to how the other holes on the course played, 11 was way above average in difficulty. So she didn't just negotiate and kind of pick her way through the hole. She absolutely attacked it. And that's why she is one of the best golfers in the world. But yeah, have to give it up to Nelly Calder.
Agree. That shot was absolutely insane. And it reminded me years ago when I was in London, I tried to do a shot like that out of the bunker. And I feel like I have the clip somewhere. So I'll find it. And I basically caught it really heavy. I'm sure the ball stayed in the bunkers. So yeah, that is one of the most difficult shots in golf. So yeah, that definitely is the shot of the year. But something else I think deserves a mention just before the year is out. It's not the shot of the year. It's not the player of the year. It's the West of Ireland Championship, which is played in Ross's Point in County Sligo. Dylan Holmes is 18 years old and he came out on top. He beat Colm Campbell. And that's an achievement in itself. But the conditions that those lads played in across that week, I could be wrong now, Paddy, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think only one player broke par on day one of the tournament. Would that be correct?
I'm unsure, but it sounds very like the West of Ireland if that happened, yeah.
The conditions, the rain, the hail, the storms that those guys played in. Dan Rapport at Barstool, I think they described Dylan Holmes as the dog of the week when the tournament was on.
No, yeah, I love what Dan does with Scratch Golf in that show. But you should be listening to ours. Obviously, if you listen to this, you listen to ours. Don't give him the ratings. But he does some great stuff. He actually called out Jonathan Keane for Dog of the Month, Dog of the Week, and Dog of the Month when he won the South. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, 100%. The weather was phenomenally bad, but they were still shooting phenomenally good scores, at both Colm and Dylan. So, but yeah, that was crazy weather. Now, breakthrough player of the year. Not just winners, maybe, but maybe focus on big leaps, or we've already spoken about mental resilience. Maybe some change receptions. Is Bryson still cool? So, Eimear, who is your breakthrough player for 2025?
My breakthrough player of the year is Lottie Woad. I was lucky enough to meet Lottie a couple of weeks before the KPMG Women's Irish Open over in London in Queenwood, and I watched her play 9 holes. And I am so glad I didn't play that 9 holes with her. I couldn't bring over my golf clubs. Um, I've never seen a person. I remember coming home to Kev and saying, I've never seen a human being strike the ball like her. Look, she played her first LET event as an amateur. She won the KPMG Women's Irish Open by 6 shots. We were there alongside her. We followed every part of the journey. It was absolutely amazing. And then there's one thing to win your first tournament, but then to go on a week later and play in the Amundi Evian Championship, which is a major, and finishing tied for third places. Like, she was only one stroke outside the playoff at that event. And my sister actually followed her around Evian and again said the same thing. She said, now I believe you when you say it, like, the way she strikes the ball, it's just completely different. After that, I was lucky enough to head over to Scotland, doing a bit of work with the Women's Scottish Open with Forefront. And once again, Lottie Wood came out on top. It was so amazing. And you know what I really like about her? She's so lovely, so down to earth, really, really good family around her. So she is absolutely the breakthrough star of the year. She's over now on playing on the LPGA. She's had a couple of top 10 finishes. You know, it's completely different now for her. This is her life. It's her livelihood. There's so much more pressure, but she's very young. She's thriving. And I think the next couple of years are going to be really, really exciting for Lottie Wood.
Going to be Lottie Wood's world in a year or 18 months' time? That's the question. My player breakthrough, or my breakthrough player of the year in 2025, I suppose there's no surprise, but it's Marco Penge. Now, I came across Marco Penge, I don't know, was it 3 years ago? The now Jameson Links, the then Portmarnock Hotel and Golf Links, hosted the Challenge Tour event. I think it was during COVID, so it might have been 2022, so 3/4 years ago. And I watched him play one day at that. And I didn't know who he was from Adam, but I have an eye for dressing well. I like to think I tog out fairly okay for playing golf. And this guy just wafted through the pro shop, smelt unbelievable. The hair was perfect, quite an athletic person. You know, if I swung that way, absolutely Marco Penge would be flavour of the day. But on the golf course, there you could just hear and see that he was like one of the more elite players in the field that day. And I watched 20, 30 guys play 3-4 holes. I watched Marco play 9. So it was no surprise to me that he's done what he's done this year, but he rewrote his whole narrative. He went from well outside the top 300 in the world to, I don't know if you speak of now, but as of a couple of weeks ago, is world number 29 by the end of this year. He won 3 times. That gets him into the Masters next year. He won in Spain. I think that gets him into the Open next year. But it hasn't been smooth. Like, there was years where results stalled. So between when I saw him and this year, results stalled, confidence took a hit. He had, I don't know, was it a knee surgery or, he was out of action for a long time last year. So again, mental fortitude to come back from that and get to a higher level than when he, pre-injury. He became a new dad. I saw that the Open in Portrush this year, our Marco's son, tat along the range with him. So it's a very wholesome family, obviously. You can just imagine, like, less sleep, more responsibility, but ultimately gives you more perspective. So you can see how he handles it in tough moments now in tournaments. He's a lot calmer, he's a lot more patient, more sure. So that's not just form and a hot player for 2025. It's growth. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does, not just next year, but over the next 3 to 5 years, and see can he get to that level of consistency to put it up to the McIlroys and those boys.
For sure. I think he's also probably the newest and most exciting driver of the ball. It was always Rory and Bryson, but now Marco Penge, when he steps up on the tee, you are not turning away.
Oh, he's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. My favourite place to go at tournaments is the range. You will see way more golf on the range. You will see, how do they work? How do they practice? Especially like a Tuesday and a Wednesday at a major, you'll be able to get access both days for a third of the price or a fourth of the price. But when Marco Penge came on the range, everybody was just looking at the massive TV, size of a tennis court, just to see what the ball speed was going to be when he started hitting driver. It was insane. Like, insane levels of speed that lad has. Oglevers. That's what we'll put it down to.
Okay.
Have you some 2025 breakthrough highlights for us, Miss McManus?
I'm so sorry, Paddy. That was actually Lottie's breakthrough highlights. We're actually moving on to underrated things. I'm so sorry.
That's cool. Love the edit. Most underrated golf thing of 2025, Eimear. Go. Your most underrated golf course.
Head first in County Meath.
Most underrated golf tournament.
The West of Ireland.
Most underrated player of 2025.
Hannah Darling on the Ladies European Tour.
Why?
She's one to watch. She's super talented. I saw her play in Ireland twice. She's recently won on the Ladies European Tour. She's a great personality. She's from Scotland. I think she's going to be a really, really good golfer.
She's a fantastic, fun, charismatic follow on the Instagram machine as well. And most underrated trend of 2025.
9 and dine is great. We need to play more short rounds of golf.
Go with the short rounds of golf. But I think if we call it 9 and dine, everyone will think they'll be dining with senior citizens. So we need a fun name for that.
That is true. Keep it short and sweet. Paddy, what is your most underrated golf course of 2025?
Drummolan Golf Club.
What's your most underrated tournament of 2025?
South of Ireland Championship. Ask me why.
Why?
It is one of the oldest and bestest, and Lynch Golf Club hosts it every year. So it's kind of like the Masters for amateur golf in Ireland. Of the majors around the country, it seems to be the one. I'm biased because I've grown up watching it, but if you ask him, it seems to be the one everybody wants to win with the wholeness of their heart. Like when kids are growing up in Lynch, they hold putts to win the South. They don't hold putts to win the Open or win the Masters. They hold putts to win the South. Massively underrated this year because I don't think it got the coverage it deserved in terms of the storytelling that can be done around the amateur championships in Ireland and around golf media in general, but we might get onto that and what things can do better. But also, given it's been underrated this year, I do not want it to be underrated for 2026 because the Walker Cup is on in Lynch in September in 2026. Best amateur golfers playing that. And I have it on a good source. They played Walker Cup this year. That if you do not play in the South of Ireland this year, you will not be considered for the Walker Cup team. So you will have the best English, Scottish, Welsh and Irish golfers playing in it. You will have the top 16 American amateur golfers playing in it. There's talk the cutoff is something like 3.5, like plus 3.5 will be your minimum handicap playing this out next year. So that it might have gone underrated this year. I know this is meant to be quick fire. I'm sorry. But folks, do not let it be an underrated championship in 2026 because you will have the best 30 golfers on the globe who don't get paid, the best 30 amateur golfers on the globe in Lynch for a week in July 2026.
Brilliant. That was really interesting. Who is your most underrated? Who's your most underrated player of 2025, Paddy?
Mark Power. I think he'll be the next Marco Penge.
Love that. Great line. And what is your most underrated trend of 2025?
Golf logoed casual or leisure wear. Like the one I'm wearing. Just like a golf club t-shirt to wear chilling at home or like to wear to the range. Not necessarily to wear in the course. But yeah, just to show I'm casual, I'm hip. It's a dad fit maybe. But yeah, I obviously play golf. So yeah.
I love that top. That's really, really cool. And I totally agree. More of this casual stuff because even sometimes if I'm looking for like casual leisure wear, as you said, or going to the gym, I throw on golf clothes, like golf looking clothes. And I don't want to look like a golfer in the gym.
Absolutely. My wife loads the term athleisure. So I try and use that term as much as possible. What is one thing we want golf to do better in 2026?
I think we need to get rid of the myth that slow play is caused by beginners. Because more often than not, it's actually not caused by beginners because people pick up their balls. I think the slowest rounds maybe me or you have played is actually low handicappers lining up putts, changing their clubs, changing their minds. I know it's serious, it's a medal, it's a scratch play, but my gosh, we need to really pick up the pace of play if we're a very low handicapper. Would you agree?
I'd agree. I've one rule. Do you know, like, I think beginners are women get a bad rap for being slow players. The fastest golfers I have ever played with are women golfers. They're lightning, especially like in courses I played at, maybe Lynch and Tree and Nace and most places I've gone. They are the fastest people on the course. And beginners pick up, walk on. You know, I think low handicaps are a vast majority of men. I watched yesterday. I watched a group of 4 men walk up to the ball. So the 4 men will go to one ball, watch that man hit. The 4 men will walk to the next ball, find it, watch him hit. The 4 men will walk to the next ball. Am I boring you yet? Try being behind that for 4 hours and 45 minutes when he teed off at 12 and it's dark at 4:45. So yeah, I would agree. The golf meant that beginners, I would add in women. I think women get an awful assumption that they're slow, when in fact I think they are the fastest golfers that play the game. Yeah, that I agree.
Thanks. I actually am a very fast golfer. I think almost too fast. It's probably my downfall. Focus. I can't focus for too long sometimes on the course. So I rush around the golf course. I think women are used to rushing maybe a bit more than men. I don't know.
I've one very simple rule, and I think it's on the first tee. It's seminal. Is play golf, play good, play fast, play poorly, play faster. That's it. Take your time, focus, hit your golf shot. You know, if it takes you 30 seconds and you're doing all the pre-flight checks before you hit a ball, fine. Walk double time between golf shots then. But that's it, yeah. One for me on one thing we want golf to do better in 2026. I'm all about inclusivity. So whatever your, if you're male, female, don't know, non-binary, they, them, his, hers, inclusivity in golf is not just a poster. It's not just for LGBTQ plus, and forgive me now, I don't know if there's any more letters in that one. Or if you're on the autism spectrum, or if you have a level of disability, or you're from a certain background. Inclusivity in golf shouldn't be just a poster. I think there's a little bit of that, in that golf loves talking about inclusivity, but mostly in posters. And what I mean there is we're great at saying everybody's welcome in campaigns, but inclusivity isn't a slogan. It's how someone feels when they walk into the clubhouse for the first time. If your dress codes, your language and attitudes make people feel like they're being assessed instead of welcomed, then you're not inclusive. You're just marketing it. Inclusivity is a behavior. It's not branding. So yeah, I would say, if you're part of a club, have a look at what you stand for. Have a look at how new members, like, are they renewing? And maybe need to are junior golf members growing or declining? And then maybe you might have to have a conversation with a certain committee about, are we doing the right things here? Like, what do we stand for as a club? Is that what we want? That type of thing. But yeah, I'd be wary of that.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. And you are right. It's not. It's always on a poster, but like, what are we actually doing to improve that? And you mentioned earlier, and I'd like your take on this. Golf is bad at telling human stories. What's your view on this?
I think it's more for the media. Hopefully, we count as the media now, and that we can maybe change that narrative and tell a few good stories. But like, take the story Lauren told us a couple of weeks ago. Lauren Walsh, who just got her LPGA Tour card and is celebrating the way she should celebrate, especially Christmas time. But I've seen her. She's already back in the gym, as we used to say, playing football one night out was 3 nights training. But she told a story about, when the course was closed, they went off and played simulator golf and had a great time while still working on their game. Right? I don't think golf media is asking that second layer question. They'd have asked that question, the course is closed now, so how are you going to approach it mentally? I'd be asking them, hey, Lauren, what are you going to do for the next 27 hours? So I think golf has incredible stories, but golf media, like the big houses, like the TV media is what I'm talking about, or some of the written word in magazines. That's why I subscribe to the Golfers Journal, because it's actual like sports journalism and storytelling. I think TV golf focus way too much on leaderboards and swing mechanics and stats and forget what people care about is humans and backgrounds and struggles and personalities. And that's what pulls people in. And that's why Rory winning the Masters, because everybody knows Rory's story, was so like massive. Other sports lead with stories. Golf still leads. Golf still leads with scorecards. People follow people. People do not follow numbers. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think Netflix bringing out Full Swing, they're trying to tell the stories. They haven't grasped it, I
100%.
would say, fully yet, but they're getting there. But that's a really good attempt at it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is there anything that you think golf should be doing better in 2026?
You mentioned a really good point as well earlier, just about kids being allowed on the golf course only after they're 10 years old. Look, I know it's hard when you've toddlers and you've this and you've that trying to manage kids, but like, how do you expect a kid to keep up golf when they start growing up if if they've no experience on a golf course? So, for example, imagine telling a 7-year-old, oh, you're not allowed on a football pitch or a soccer pitch until you're 10.
Can you
But in
imagine
golf,
that?
like, we've actually decided this that children no. And like we've actually decided this. So like if a child can swing, behave and be supervised, like why are we actually blocking them out of this? You know, I have seen in particular over in sort of Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, and actually in London as well, they're bringing out these fabulous junior, like super junior golf tees. Like I'm talking a par four, which is like 360, is turned into like a 70-yard par four for a toddler. So they are making steps. I think in Ireland we need to catch up maybe a little bit or give children. I think in Sunningdale Heath in London on the Heath course on a Sunday afternoon, it's only for like junior golfers. So it is only for like toddlers and up. I hope I'm not wrong there. We'll double check that. But Sunningdale Heath in England are doing their best to get rid of this old silly rule.
Yeah, it's a big part of what I stand for is junior golf, and having a minimum age is too old school for me. But that's I think we're going to do it for this year. I think we've enough covered. Thanks so much for sticking with us wherever you've listened to these episodes, whether you've shared a clip, whether you've sent us a message, or if you stopped us for a chat on the course or at a service station or an event. A couple of people said it to me, and I think a couple of people pulled Eimear aside and said that's pretty good what you're doing. So thank you all very much. We really genuinely don't take any of it for granted, and love all the feedback. So a massive thank you to everyone who has engaged, who has agreed with us, who has disagreed with us, and kept the conversations going. That's what this show is all about.
We'll be back in the new year with more episodes, more voices, and plenty more golf chat. And if there's someone you want us to have on, or a topic you think we should be digging into, please just let us know, because this really, really helps. And look, you know where to reach us. Podcast at scratchsocialhq.com or Scratch Social on all social media platforms.
So until then, enjoy the holidays, enjoy the golf if you're getting out, and enjoy the break if you're not. From me, Paddy.
And me, Eimear, thanks for listening. Good luck and Happy New Year.